inspiration, motivation, or hope? Do you let fear hold you back? Sometimes you feel lost or just stuck in your own thoughts, and you want a clear path to give you results. Then, my friend, you are in the right place. My name is Rachel Best, and I am your host of How to Make a Mark in the World, Finding Your Signature. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. Good morning, my friends. So my name is Rachel Best, and this is the Making Your Mark podcast and how to find your signature. And today we're interviewing Alex. I actually got the pleasure of meeting him a few weeks ago at an event, and I fell in love with his story. He has such an amazing story of how I'm not going to steal any thunder. I'm just going to say he has an amazing story. And I will let him share and just introduce who he is. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Alex.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex. It's short for Alejandro. I was born in Mexico, but I've been here in the U.S. now for 20 years. The beginning, when I first got here, it was very hard for me to communicate with the people here because I did not know the native language. So what I did, was study. I would put the TV with the little subtitles under it, and I would repeat every single word, and I would try to read every single word, so that way I would start, getting those words into my mind, and soon after that, I started putting sentences together.
Wow, that's amazing. That was just your drive to just want to learn. And can you share with us a little bit of why that was so important for you? What sparked that?
Well, it was so important to me because it came out of shame. I was the first day in school. I remember being put to read in front of the whole class, so I didn't know how to read English. I was reading English and Spanish, so everybody was making fun of me. And that hurt inside of me. And that day, I made a decision within myself, to never again, go through that pain. So that's when the dedication to learning something new came, and it's just stuck to me ever since. It's just been part of my, personal development and everything that's happened to me so far.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. And what I love about your story is that you came to the US. So just share a little bit. You came to the US and just share a little bit about your story.
Yeah, well, we first moved to California. We lived there for about 2 years. Soon after that, everything was so expensive. There was so much violence and drugs, gangs around the area where we stayed at. So the opportunity for my mom came where she had met a friend that she said she was moving to Tennessee. So my mom took the step of faith, with faith, and brought us here along with my dad. But my dad didn't stay here for too long. Eventually he moved back to California. We're pretty much stuck here in Tennessee by ourselves. So we've been here in Tennessee now since 2005. And I just remember, there was a point, in 2006 where, we didn't have anything. We were living in a mobile home. There was like holes on the ground. We were able to see the daylight, under from the floor. There was cockroaches, mice. We had to put like cotton balls in our ears so that we really have no insects going in there. It was so hard. I had to take care of my sisters and my little brother because my mom was working 2 or 3 jobs. I remember, having to go under the bridge to, take a shower and wash our clothes. And then after getting out of the water, we have to check our bodies to make sure, we didn't have no leeches sucking our blood because, I found a couple. And, we would either have to go early in the morning or late at night so people wouldn't see. And after that, I just started, wanting to build something huge, since that time because I knew what it felt like having nothing, and even now, I feel like I have nothing because everything that I have, I'm putting it out there. I'm giving money to people in Cuba so that we're able to feed people there. I'm part of an organization where we're trying to stop, human trafficking and sex abusive kids. I'm right now wanting to start another organization here in the local community, and where we are able to help, the Hispanic community that, come to the U.S. with no documents. They don't have like a social security or a way for them to get insurance. And a lot of times, people get hurt and, they don't have nobody to support them. So I want to be able to get something so that way we are able to help them at least, for a week's supplies worth of food, maybe paying a bill, or maybe even paying some of the rent. So I'm just excited for that. And I'm also doing jail ministry here with a local ministry that I'm part of. And we're going into the jail, teaching men how to be husbands, how to be fathers, how to be men of God. So I'm just excited for, for everything that God's doing in my life, because I allowed him to, flow through my every action.
Yeah, that's great. And, I do have a question. Do you have anything set up that if somebody wanted to help, pour into what you're doing and your mission, do you have something set up that they can help support that?
Well, right now I'm still putting everything together. I just now got the logo design this last weekend. So now my next step, is to put everything under legally structure, so that way I'm able to start accepting donations, and maybe even contributions, maybe even donations, because people also need clothes, especially the kids. A lot of people, they're barely making ends meet, because that's all they're able to get at that time.
Wow. Well, that's so awesome. All those things that you're doing, and how you're just being an open vessel for letting God to just move through you. And you're exactly the kind of person that he's looking for, is somebody that is just like, use me, take me, and I will go where the people are, and I will just serve and just reflect Jesus through you. So that's amazing. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about does your business kind of flow into all of this as well? Or tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, my business, it's Rosales Home Innovations. We specialize in the drywall installation, finishing, and painting. So that right there is what pretty much just pays the bills, and gets me in front of people. So, but I've started that business in 2019. After I came back from GrowthCon #3 with Grant Cardone. It was funny how I even got there, because I at that time, I had just saved enough money just for me to buy a ticket, and I didn't have a way to get there. So what I did was put more money together and bought another ticket for a friend that had a good car that was able to take us there. So I paid for him just for me to get there. But once I got there, I was taking so many notes, everything that I was listening to. But what I got the most out of there, was another decision that I made within myself, to go out there and make something happen, and I started playing big. So I came back with $13.47. And with that, and I also came back with that decision, that I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna do it. So I committed to that decision, and it started growing since then. The year before that, I had only made $35,000, and once I came back, I talked to my boss, hey, I'm gonna make $100,000 this year. His response was, it's gonna take a lot of work. So but he didn't know that, and I'm used to a lot of work. I've been working since I was a little kid. I would help my grandparents, make the bricks. I would help them mix the mortar for them to lay the bricks. When I started working here in the U.S., I was framing houses at the age of 15. So, I'm already used to, putting in the work. So now then the same, that year, I did $112,000 in business. So, because I had so much faith in myself, and I did whatever it took to make it happen, and I discovered within myself, that I'm able to do greater things if I only believe and have faith in myself, and that's very important.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Like, that's the epitome of just having grit and how can I? That's one question that is so important, to just how can I? How can I? And you have so many talents and gifts that you are just like, okay, these are the things that I have that I can use. And God has just, from time you were a little boy, he's been able to just plant gifts and talents and things inside of you that you're able to use. And so I think seriously, like, this is just the beginning of how, God is using you. I'm sure he's done so many amazing things. I know you're working in the prisons and just helping the outreach and all the things. And this is just seriously such a blessing to be on here with you, to just hear all the things that God is doing through you. And so I always like to just give all glory to God. I was reading First Corinthians yesterday, and it was talking about how when God delights in using people that are ordinary or weak or the undespisable, like those things that people try to are embarrassed of. God uses people like that to show only he can do, only through him can we do these things. And so I just love all of that. Like, you're just absolutely amazing. Your story is just amazing. So tell me, what is some of the best advice that you've ever been given, either for personal or for business, that you have used in your life to keep pushing you through?
One of the things that I've told myself, repeatedly each and every single time is, to keep going, even when it hurts, because it is
Mm.
through in the pain and the suffering that we are able to find ourselves, who we truly are. And that's where we discover also who or what is it that we need to change within ourselves to move past that circumstance or whatever situation that we're facing. Because when everything that we face, or it comes our way, we usually think about it here first. And a lot of times, we take that decision based on whatever knowledge we have up to that point. So I believe
Mm.
that it's very important, to stay, always be reading, always be, putting something new of information into your mind, and also taking action on whatever it is that we receive at that moment, because it is in the action where we start, to make things happen, and we start taking steps. Because when we start, taking steps, we're actually expecting for things to happen instead of allowing them for it to happen. So, I feel like I
Mm.
get a little bit of control of this, doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have any specific books or people or thing? What do you do to fill yourself up and to learn and grow? What do you do for personal development?
Personal development, I listen to, I cut off all the movies, all the music. I haven't had cable in my house for, ever since I got married with my wife. That's almost 10 years. So,
Wow.
I cut all that off. I listen to books. I listen to a lot of the Bible. I read my Bible. I listen to books like Think and Grow Rich, the 10X rule. So just something that's going to sharpen my way of thinking and make me, move a little bit faster in the marketplace. So that way it'll put me in an edge against my
Mm.
competition. And
Mm.
now, I put myself out there. I was uncomfortable speaking on video. So what I did, I saw this one guy. I told him, hey, I was looking for you my whole life. Now it's time for you to come with me and take this fear away from me. Just
Wow.
eliminate it. So I hired him, and now we started, making videos together. And that's something that I had to do just to get me past that fear.
That's so awesome. So what is next for you in your life? What are you looking for? What's next?
Well, what's next for me is to be able to teach my kids how to be servant leaders, how to put other people's needs before their own, how to take, the initiative in things and not wait for people to tell them what to do. Right now, I'm teaching my daughter how to, build a business, how to, lead others. Tell her, to always be the one that takes the initiative of everything that she does, and always be the first one, to ask questions, because it's her job as a student to extract every single piece of knowledge that her teacher has. So that's what I'm teaching her right now. My kids, I believe they're what's coming next. So everything that I'm doing is it's for them.
Yeah, that's great. And your daughter's 10, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, like how amazing that at such a young age you're able to pour all of that into her, because you're right. Our young ones are the next generation of where we're going. And so it's definitely our job to pour into them and teach them and help them just go out in the world to make a difference. And I love that. So um one last question here. So, what is your favorite quote or scripture that you lean on in time of trouble or time of need, or what, or just motivation, inspiration, what would that be?
Yeah, it's Philippians 4:13. I can do it all through Christ that strengthens me. So that's what's always keeping me going every single time. You think about it, and I find strength within myself to actually keep pushing even harder when it hurts. Keep going,
Mm.
when everything's falling on top of me, just to get up and keep doing and keep walking in faith, because without faith, we're pretty much lost. That's very important for me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that faith is definitely an important piece. As we sometimes get lost in the lack of faith, and we want to see things before we actually believe it. But it's really just having faith that I have no idea how this is going to happen, but I know that it's inside and I'm ready for it to come out, and I'm just going to take a step. And I think that's what God does, is he waits for us. He invites us, and then he waits for us to take that step of faith and just move into what he has called us to do. So
Yeah.
that is fantastic.
Yeah, but there's also a difference, with taking a step of faith and taking a step with faith, because
Mm.
when you take a step with faith, it's like you're expecting for things to happen, but when you take a step of faith, it's like you're pretty much wondering if it's going to happen or not. So it's I feel like there's a difference between those.
Yeah, yeah. We should say, boom, baby, right? Oh, shoot, that's awesome. I just thank you so much for taking time to just share with everybody what you're doing, and a little bit of your story, and to just give some hope and some inspiration that regardless of where we come from, it doesn't matter where we come from, it's where we finish, and the journey along the way. And I think that your story will definitely touch somebody's heart and make a mark in the world. And you are finding your signature, you are finding your mark in the world, and you're going to leave that impression, and you're leaving that legacy with your children, of sharing with them how to do all the things that you're doing, and to just provide a better life for them. And you also said earlier, before we got on, that you were in the process of writing a book. So share a little bit about your book.
Well, the book, it's called Create a Decision Within. So creating a decision within, it's something that I made within myself. Every time that I faced something that was very difficult, like learning how to speak English. There was this one time, where I went to the grocery, buying milk for my newborn daughter that she was in the 10 out, but I had to pay with nothing but coins, pennies, quarters, and nickels. And there was a line behind me, and the cashier, she's like, oh, they do this every single time. But that hurt inside me. So I made a decision within myself. Never again am I gonna experience this pain. So that also built on me, to keep even working even harder. And to start investing more into my mindset. Right now I'm almost at the point where I've spent $100,000 into the way I think, just because I believe in getting the right information, getting in the rooms with the people that have the right information, and they actually want to help you win. So I feel like that it's very important, to never stop, learning. Because once we stop learning, I feel like that's pretty much like when we give up in life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that you just touched on that, investing in yourself. That is so important, to invest, because nobody else is going to invest in us, right? Unless we invest in ourselves. So when we invest in ourselves and pour into ourselves, and like you said, just getting into the right room with the right people. And I think that God, using that event that we met at, that was definitely a divine moment of the right people in the right room at the right time, to help bring us to that next level of where we're going to make impact in the world. So I
Yes.
love that you just touched on that.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of the preparation that we must go through for us to get to the place where God wants us to be at. So we gotta be always willing to listen, and take in, and that's that present moment, and just live on that, because I believe that yesterday is where we were, today's where we are, and tomorrow is where we're going, and it is right now in the present moment that we are able to dictate our thoughts. Where is it that we're going? start directing each and every single idea into, taking action. Because, the longer we let it sit in our head, the more that the devil has to, it tries to distract us away from that, taking action on that idea. Because usually when God speaks, it's usually the first idea that comes into your mind. And a lot of people, they let that idea, start making doubts in themselves that, but that they have to think, that's from the enemy. That's not really from God. When God puts an idea, it's our responsibility to take action right away. So I usually try to take action at least 5 seconds when an idea comes into my mind. So that way I don't let it, distract me anymore, and see what happens after that. And a lot of times it's made a huge impact in my life. It's put me in, a lot of pivotal positions in which I'm able to transform the way I think and do things, and then it just brings more people around me, and now people are starting to notice of the things that I'm doing, and they're actually asking me, for encouragement. How can I handle this situation? So I try my best, to share as much as I can, because I believe in giving the most of what I have, even when I have nothing.
Yeah, and what you just said about the idea that God does speak, that he is speaking, but our monkey brain or the devil, will be like, was that? Or, we share things with people and they might not support us. And again, that's why it's so important to be in that room with those people that are going to rise you up and support you and cheer you on and help you, because or else that that idea can just be plucked away. And so I love that you just said that about are we listening to when God speaks, and to move on when he speaks, to not let it just sit there. I love the 5 seconds and you're like, go. That's awesome.
Let's do it. Yeah, because I believe in taking action, and every single time that I take action, like, something wonderful happens. Maybe just something really small, but it makes a huge difference. A few days or a few months, or even a couple of years down the road. But it's just that taking action. In that moment when it happens, that's gonna make or break.
Yeah, and it's all those little things along the way. And I love that you even notice the little things, because so many people, we can just be going through life and we just completely miss the little things. We act as if they're not important, but really those little things probably might be some of the most important pivotal pieces in our life to propel us into the future and to propel us into where we're going. If we can be trusted with the small things and recognize the small things, we're definitely going to see the bigger things when they're in our face. So such a good statement. So but yes, well, I thank you again so much, Alex, for taking the time and just sharing your story and sharing your heart and sharing all the amazing things that you're in the process of doing, and where you've been and where you're going, and just leaving your mark in the world. So I definitely appreciate your time. And that is our time for today, my friends. And we will chat with you again soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is your host, Rachel Best, and I hope you loved the show. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as well as share with a friend. If you would like, you can follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook under Rachel Best. You can also find me on my website at rachelbestspeaks.com.